Good evening, children. In today's class, we are going to study the second step in the basic processes of crop production. Understand? So that is what? Sowing. Understand? This is the second step of basic practices of crop production. Understood? So we know that what is the first step, that is preparation of soil. Correct or not? Yes, we have studied that how we can prepare the soil for cultivating particular crops and all. We have studied a different kind of implements, agriculture implements and all. So in today's class, what is sowing? How we will do this process called as sowing. Understand? So once the soil understanding in the field has been prepared by plowing, leveling, and manufacturing, and some other kind of manufacturing, not manuring, some kind of other etc. Seeds of the crop can be sown into it. Understand? So agriculture implements, by using agriculture implements, we have to do preparation of soil in 3 steps, that is plowing. In last class we have already studied. Understanding? And next one is what? Leveling. And the next one is what? Manuring. So these are the 3 steps. Understanding? So preparation of soil. Now, once if you have done this, we have to do what? We have to, seeds of the crop can be sown into where? Into soil. Sown into soil. So the process of scattering seeds, understanding, means what is the meaning of scattering? Scattering means, see, this all the meaning of these words are very, very important. These are the new words to you. You just remember. Scattering seeds. So what is the meaning of scattering seeds? Scattering seeds means putting seeds. Putting seeds. Understanding? See, just for your convenience, I'm explaining everything. Understand? You can use any one thing, either putting seeds or scattering seeds. Scattering seeds. So the process of scattering, SCATTERING, scattering seeds in the ground soil for growing the crop plants is called as sowing. Are you able to understand what it is? The process of scattering seeds in the ground soil, scattering seeds in the ground soil, or else in the soil. In the soil means the soil which is prepared in step 1, ground soil for growing crops, for growing crops. Understanding? For growing the crops, crop plants is called as sowing. Is called sowing. Are understanding? So sowing is the most important part of production, because if you are not planting the seeds, if you are not putting the seeds in ground, then there is no crop production at all. Correct or not? So at least even you have not done the step for preparation of soil, at least few seeds can germinate. Understand? Because the seeds are the most important for production of any kind of food. So that is why the sowing is the most important part of the crop production. Understand? So without seeds and without any kind of, what we can say, that this sowing of any kind of small plants or sowing of seeds, there is no production of crop. So that is why sowing is the most important important part of the crop production. So before sowing, see, we cannot, I'm having some kind of grains, I cannot go for a sowing process immediately, because before sowing we have to select that. Understanding? Either it is a good quality seeds or else a bad quality seeds. So before sowing of any kind of crop, a good quality seeds must be selected. Understanding? So means we have to select a very good quality seeds. Good quality seeds, because we need to produce a good crop production, and it must be, understanding. So the good quality seeds are clean and they're healthy seeds. Understanding? So what is the meaning of healthy seeds? They are free from the, understanding, they are free from the infection and diseases. Understanding? So that is the very important role. Before going to go for the sowing process, we have to select the good quality seeds. Understanding? So good quality seeds are clean and they are healthy seeds, are free from, means they are not having any kind of infection or else any kind of diseases. Understanding? Is called as good quality seeds. That seeds only is using for the sowing process. Understand? So the farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield of food grains. Correct or not? Everybody desires that is only. If you are doing some work means you will expect some profit from that. Correct or not? So that is why. So farmers, if they want to do some kind of crop production means they always will accept. Understanding? They always will what we can expect, not accept. Expect. Understanding? They always prefer to use seeds which give high yield means more food grains. Understanding? High yield of food grains. Understanding? So that is why we need to select a good quality seeds. Understanding? Now we will study one activity how we can select. Understanding? See, before going to sowing, going for the process called as sowing, the step 2, we need to select a good quality seeds. Now we'll study an activity that how we can select this good quality seeds. Understand? So that is, so let me keep heading just selection of seeds. Which kind of seeds it is? They are a very good kind of a good quality seeds, which are very healthy, which is not having any kind of dirty means they are very clean. Understanding? Which is free from infection and disease. So selection of seeds or else a good quality seeds. Understand? So now we'll study one activity for this, a very simple activity. There is no any kind of chemical process and all to test the good quality seeds. Just as normal, if you're a farmer, you can do this process for the good quality seeds. Understand? So now for the selecting, we can select good quality healthy seeds for sowing by doing an activity called like just put all the seeds in a bucket. Let me take a big bucket. Understand? I'm taking a big bucket. So just first I am filling with the water, some amount of water I am filling. Understanding? Now put all the seeds in a bucket container. Understanding? Containing water. If we are I am already poured water. Now I will put all the seeds now. So means the seeds means the grains or whatever the type of seeds which you are having for the different kind of crops. Everything you have to put it into the water. So now this water, these grains will, seeds will mix it with the water. Understanding? Now just try to stir with your hand or some kind of agitator which will create a rotations inside. Understanding? Now most of the seeds will settle down. Means here means here maximum of the seeds will settle down slowly, and you can observe after stirring you just remove this. Understanding? So after stirring process you can observe that most of the seeds will settle down at the bottom. Understanding? And a few seeds, if you want you can do an activity also. Few seeds whereas will float on top of the water. Few seeds will float on the top of the water. Understanding? Remaining maximum they will settle down. Now here if you'll see we are having now two kinds of seeds. Before we are having some kind of seeds. You can take any kind of a gunny bag and all. We are having some kind of seeds, one bag of seeds. Now we have to select a good quality or bad quality. This is one bag of gunny bag of seeds. Now we have to select good quality or bad quality seeds. Now we will pour into a bucket which contains water. Now we have here we observe that our seed bag means a gunny bag of seeds separating into two seeds. That is, one is the seeds few are understanding maximum the seeds they are settled down means they are sink inside the water, and few are they are floating on the water. Understanding? Floating on the top. Now how we can select which one is good, either floating or sinking? Means the seeds, always you remember, which sink at the bottom of the bucket are healthy seeds. Means the seeds which are settled down, they are called as healthy seeds. Means they are a good quality seeds. Understanding? Healthy seeds. Understanding? So the seeds which float on the water are the spoiled seeds or damaged seeds. Spoiled seeds. Are you clear? So healthy seeds are, you remember how we can say that these are healthy. So the seeds which are sink, which are settled down at the bottom. Understanding? They are healthy seeds. Understanding? Because they are heavy, so they sink in water. They sink in water. Understanding? Now The seeds which have been partially eaten by, means damaged, means what is how the seeds will damage? Because it will be eaten by pests or some kind of damaged, understanding, or any kind of by disease, understanding, they may become hollow and light and hence float on water, understanding. So which has been partially eaten by, understanding, pests, pests, some kind of organisms, pests which will eat seeds, seeds. Pests are damaged, eaten by pests are damaged by some kind of disease, understanding, damaged by disease, become hollow and light, means only seed is looking like some kind of shape, but inside everything will become hollow. Before it is a healthy seed, it will be looking like this, but it will be eaten by some kind of pests or it will be damaged by some kind of diseases. So only outer shell will be present and inside it will become everything hollow, understanding, means they will become light and hence they will come to the top of the water, means they will float on the water. So the seeds may also be treated with, you remember. See, now we have already segregated that this is healthy seeds and this is not healthy seeds. Means this is a good quality seeds and this is not good quality seeds which are floating on the water. Now, even though once if you have separated into healthy seeds and not healthy seeds, means good quality and bad quality seeds, again, before going to sowing process, we have to treat these seeds. We have to separate from this water and we have to keep it for drying process. Understanding? Otherwise, because if you will keep in water itself, they will start germinating seeds there itself before planting into the ground. That is why we have to separate it and we have to keep it for dry. Now, even though suppose after separating into good quality seeds, suppose if you want to keep these seeds for sowing process, means putting into the soil, we have to treat it with fungicide solutions. Understanding? Fungicide. So what is the meaning of fungicide? Fungicide means some kind of chemical substances which does not allow any kind of, understanding, of fungus infections like that. Understand? So fungicide solutions before sowing to prevent the seed-borne diseases. Understanding? Like human also born diseases, we can some are called as understanding, birth diseases. From with birth itself we will get some kind of diseases. Understand? So like that, when the seed will start germinating, that seed maybe because of its parents, understanding, from the ancient, means before their parents or grandparents and all, like seeds also coming from where? From the plants only. So like that, it is also having some kind of parents. So like born diseases, birth disease, the diseases coming from the birth, understanding. So these born diseases will appears in humans also when they are growing. Like that, seeds also, when it is in a seed stage, this disease may not come out, we cannot observe, but once it will start germinating, means once it will settle into the soil, so these seed-borne diseases will start coming, understanding, along with the germination of the seed. So if you want to prevent that seed-borne diseases, we can call it seed-borne diseases. Seed-borne diseases, understanding, we have to add some kind of chemical substances called as fungicides, which will be not allowing to infect by some kind of seed-borne diseases when the germinating stage. That is why we have to add some kind of fungicide. So this is the activity which you have to do for selection of seeds. Understanding? Now we know that now selection of seeds is over. What is our next process? That is called as sowing. Now this sowing also, we are having a different methods to planting the seeds in the soil. That is only our next concept, that is called as methods of sowing seeds. What is our concept? Methods of what is our next concept? Methods of sowing seeds. Understood? Methods of sowing seeds. So basically, if you'll observe that seeds are sown in the soil either by hand or by using some kind of machines called as seed drill, by using by hand, or else we can call it as, nowadays is a technology has much improved, so many changes in technology. So we are using, instead of a labor or a manpower, we are using a machine that is only called as seed drill. Understand? So there are two methods of sowing seeds in the soil. They are sowing by hand. One is what? Sowing by hand, and the second one is called as sowing with a seed drill. Sowing with a seed drill. Understanding? Now one by one we'll study everything clearly. Okay, one after one. So now first one, let me comes to what is the sowing of seeds by hand. Hand means what? Manually. Understanding? Means without using any kind of instruments or equipment. Understand? So the sowing of seeds by hand, or else we can call it as manually. So we are having some name for this process. Means whatever the seeds if you are planting with your hand, that process is called as broadcasting. Understand? See, this broadcasting we will use in television industry also. Understanding? So broadcast some kind of it's like a news or something. So that broadcasting is different. So the naming of sowing the seeds by hand is called as broadcasting. What we used to call? Broadcasting. CASTING. Are you able to understanding? Single word it is. Broadcasting. So in the sowing with the hand or manually, the seeds are taken in hand and gradually scattered. Understanding? Gradually scattered in the entire plowed field. Understanding? Entire plowed field. Suppose this is my area, this is my land. So first I need to do what? Plowing. Correct or not? So this is my plowed field. So what we have to do? By hand we have to take that seeds and gradually we have to scattered, means distribution. Understanding? Planting the seeds. Understanding? So scattered seeds gradually one after one by using hand is called as sowing of seeds by hand, or also we can call it as broadcasting. Correct or not? So this method is not very good. See, you can plant the seeds or you can scatter the seeds by using hand. Understanding? Gradually we can plant the seeds. Now, this is not a very good method. This is not a very good method for sowing seeds because there is no proper spacing or proper depth at which the seeds are sown by hand. Understanding? So we don't know. Few times we may sowing the seed very inside, very deep, or few times we may sowing the seeds at the very top of the surface. And even we don't know even the regular interval, because we are human. We cannot exactly, we cannot efficiently, we cannot able to calculate the distance between from seed to seed. That is why this method, understanding, is not a very good method because there is no proper spacing. No proper spacing. No proper spacing. Understand? Or proper depth. No proper depth at which the seeds are sown by hand. Understanding? And even moreover, the seeds scattered on the surface of the soil. Suppose if you are dipping very inside, we are having some disadvantage. We will study that. If you're sowing the seeds at the top of the surface, not very deep or not even understanding very upper surface, just very little small depth inside the soil. Now, the scatter on the surface of the soil for sowing can be picked up and eaten by some kind of birds or rabbits. Rats or rabbits or anything, any kind of small animals. Understand? Vegetative animals. Means those who will eat only, it's like a vegetarian, sorry, not vegetable, vegetative animal. So the seeds which are scattered on the surface of the soil for sowing can be picked up and eaten by the birds and some kind of rats and rabbits and all. That is why this method is not very good. Like that, if it comes to the second method, understanding, that is what? Sowing with a seed drill. Means the implement, understanding, used for sowing is a seed drill by using a machine called as seed drill. So the implement used for sowing is a seed drill. A seed drill is a long iron tube having a funnel at the top. Are you able to understand? It is looking like a funnel which is having a long iron tube. If you want, I will make even sharply. It is having some kind of opening. It's very small. Understand? So it is a what? A seed drill is a long iron tube having a funnel at the top. Understand? So the seed drill is a instrument which is tied to back of the plow, and seeds are put into the funnel of the seed drill. Put into the funnel of the seed drill. So this is the seed drill. Correct or not? Now we know that normally we are using to having a what? Some kind of we know that in last class we have studied some kind of instruments which used to plow. We are having iron also. Now here we can tie this to this kind of instrument. Understand? Here we are having a handle also. Understand? So from here we are having some kind of thing. Here we can having a beam balance also for tying the bulls. Understand? So now if you'll observe here carefully, a seed drill is a long tube, iron tube having a funnel at the top. So the seed drill is tied. This seed drill, this instrument, everything is called a seed drill, is tied to back of the plow. Any kind of different kind of plows. Understand? Even for a tractor, understanding. For that also tractor implement also we have studied in last class. Cultivator. For that also we can tie this, because it is having so many kind of this kind of iron sharp edges for plowing. So the plow and the seeds are put into the funnel. So all the seeds, sufficient number of seeds we can put into this funnel. We can put into this funnel every seeds. We don't need to keep by hand. Everything we will pour it depend upon the size of the funnel. Understand? Now, as the plow makes furrows, understanding, we can call it as furrows. F-U-R-R-O-W-S. Furrows means you can see that when the plow is going, understanding, going inside the soil or else earth, then it will try to make some kind of small canals. Correct or not? Means it will crack the earth and it will try to make a small, it's like a, what we can say that, suppose normally plain, it will be like, suppose if I consider this is the field, we are having a plane, it's a plane, understand, we'll make it a plane surface. Correct or not? Now, if the plow will go and will start digging, it will reach to make a small like canal. Is it correct or not? So in this only the seeds will start falling inside. Understand? So that is only called as furrows. What we used to call furrows, which is made by the what? Made by the plow. Which is made by the plow. Means this iron need, understanding, iron which is present at a sharp edge which is present at the end of the plow. Understanding, which will dig the earth and it will separate some kind of soil and will make small kind of canal. That is only called as furrows, made by the plow. So by using a seed drill for sowing, the seeds are sown at the correct depth and correct intervals. Understanding, means a regular spacing. Intervals means we can call it as regular spacing. So the seeds sown with a seed drill are in regular rows also, because here they used to fall every seed one after one, it needs to fall from this small hole only. So automatically it will fall regular distance and perfect depth in the same order. They will fall in the same row also. So when the seeds are sown in furrows by a seed drill, the seeds get covered by soil. Understanding, get covered by soil automatically. Understand? So due to this, what is going to happen? The understanding, the seeds cannot be picked up and eaten by the birds, because they have fixed at a certain depth inside the earth. We are keeping that seeds, so it is not possible to eaten by the birds or in some kind of animal. So it is obvious that the sowing with seed drill is much better than sowing by hand. So a bullock, even we are having two kinds of what we can say that seed drills. One is with a bullock driven by seed drill, has just one long iron tube with a funnel, exactly like this. Understanding? So it is having a very time consuming process. Even by manually also much timing, but with a one funnel also it will take much time. This is what? A bullock driven seed drill. Understanding? Like that, if it comes to the tractor driven seed drill, it is having what? 5 to 6 iron tubes joined together with a common funnel at the top. Means you remember here how it will be. Nowadays you can see that modern day, now groundnut season, this is in this season we used to sowing the groundnut. So nowadays most of the fellows, they are not even using a bullock driven bullock driven seed drills. They are using tractor driven seed drill. So it will be looking like what? In last class we have studied the how it will be tractor driven seed drills, cultivator. It will be looking like this. That or not? So it is used to having some kind of what? How many? Totally 5 to 6. So like this. Now totally it is having 5 to 6 seed drills. So now this all the seed drills, what is going to happen? This all the seed drills is connected with a common funnel at the top of the things. Understanding? So anyhow we know that this all is like a. Now if you'll observe, this all the seed drills is connected with a common funnel. Means when some kind of iron tubes or pipes, plastic pipes is connected to the single funnel. Every funnel it is having. This is a common funnel for the all kind of seed drills. So a common funnel at the top, when the seeds are put into this funnel, everything, it will be equally distributed to the all the kind of seed drill, all the 5 to 6 iron tubes which is connected to this seed drill. Now, what is going to happen? When the seeds are put into this funnel, understanding, of such a seed drill, the seeds are released through all the tubes which is connected to the single funnel. Understanding, get sown into 5 to 6 furrows of soil simultaneously. Means each this seed drill will make some kind of, understanding what it will make? Furrow. Each seed drill will make some kind of furrows. So at a time, what is going to happen? 5 to 6 furrows of soil simultaneously, they will start sowing the seeds. So by using such a tractor driven seed drills, the sowing of seeds can be completed very quickly. So this is very quick process, very quickly, because it is having so many seed drills. So most of the crops, like if you consider wheat, so we know very well about wheat. Understand? So wheat, if you consider chana means what? Chana means gram. Like maize, understanding, and some kind of like maize, a small circular what we can say, spherical shape, some kind of grains we can call as millet. Understanding? Millet, some other kind of seeds are grown or cultivated by sowing the seeds into the soil directly. Understanding? Are you able to understanding? Most of the crops like wheat, gram, maize and millet are grown or cultivated by sowing the seeds directly into the soil. Means the seeds directly with the proper distance and proper depth, we can directly planting in the field. So we will get the crops. But few crops, it is not possible to cultivate sowing the directly in the field. That we will study later. Now we'll study what are the main safety precautions. Understand? Safety measurements means what we used to call precautions for sowing seeds. Are you able to understand? So what kind of measurements or safety precautions, safety things we have to follow for sowing the any kind of seeds? Now we'll study that. What is our heading now? A safety measurements of a safety measurement for sowing seeds or precautions for sowing seeds. What it is? Precautions. Precautions for sowing seeds. Are you able to understand? So now we'll study a few precautions for sowing the seeds. So the seeds, remember, the first precaution is the seeds should be sown at right depth in the soil suitable for germination. Are you able to understand? That is the first one, right depth. Understanding, right depth in the even a suitable soil. Soil must be good, a good soil. It is having a very fertile. That is all. Leveling and all everything we have, you need to do. Soil preparation we have studied that for in first step. So the first safety measurement of precaution is the seeds should be sown at right depth in the soil suitable for germination. Means that soil must contain everything which is need to allow the seeds which are planting must need to germinate. Germinate means growing. Germination. Understanding means the plant is coming out from the seed is called as germination. Understanding. So if the seeds are just spread on the surface of the soil, we know that what is going to happen? Then the seeds will be eaten up by the birds and some kind of animals. Understand? Or else now, if the seeds are sown too deep, suppose, let me consider this is my field. Understand? Now, in first case, I have a it's like a what? Very less depth, like irregularly. Understanding? I have just sown on the surface of the soil. Then what is going to happen? This all the seeds are almost just like a visible on the surface of the soil. So this all will be definitely some kind of birds and flies will come and will dig and will eat it easily. Rabbits, rats like. And now, if the seeds instead of this case, also this is not a good sowing process. Correct or not? Now, instead of planting this on the surface of the earth or soil, now I am planting very deep inside the soil, very deep. Now also, if the seeds are sown too deep, then they may not germinate. Understanding? Because if they will germinate, if you will throw it on the surface, it will be eaten by the animals. Now, if you will keep very deep inside the soil, very deep means not like a 50 feet or 100 feet, just like a understanding. Seeds you have to be just grown is like what we can say that even what is like a 10 inches means 5 centimeters to 10 centimeters distance almost. Is just for the namesake I'm explaining. It is not the correct even measurement. Understanding? So suppose if you'll keep very deep, it's like a 30 centimeters, 40 centimeters, like deep inside. If you'll plant the seeds, if you're sowing the seeds, then what is going to happen? Then also seeds cannot germinate because they cannot breathe. They cannot breathe. So you may think that, sir, what is the bit? How the seeds will breathe? Because they also contains, see, a small seed contains a big plant. Because plants also living organisms, they also will do the breathing process. Understanding? So they cannot get sufficient air when if you throw it inside the soil, deep inside. Understanding? See, sir, then you can, even though if you plant it well at certain distance also, how they will get air means because soil is having a small kind of tiny pores. Understanding? So this all the pores is filled with the air, so that air will be absorbed by these seeds when they are in the germination stage. But if you are going deep inside the soil, then there is no sufficient supply of air from the top, so seeds cannot germinate. That is why if we'll keep very deep, then seeds are not germinated because they cannot breathe. B-R-E-A-T-H, breathe, because they cannot get sufficient amount of air. Sufficient air. Understanding? So at greater depth, there is no sufficient amount of air, so seeds cannot germinate. Understanding? So always seeds should be sown at right depth in the soil, which is suitable for germination. Understanding? So this right depth, how we can know? This will be learned by understanding, learned by our own experience, by sowing the seeds in a different kind of means several times. If you are doing the same kind of crop, then you can understand. Depend upon the crop yield, we can understanding what kind of fertilizers we have to add, at what depth we have to do, what kind of seeds, good seeds we have to select, like this. This all will be coming by experience. Okay, so this is about a first precaution for sowing seeds. We cannot sowing the seeds at the top of the surface or very deep. It must be moderate. Understand? Moderate depth. That will be different crops will be having different kind of depth. Okay, so that is the first precaution. Like that, next precaution is the seeds should be sown at right intervals or spacings. Means from the seed to seed, the distance must be some kind of, it's like equal distance, and the seeds must contain some equal distribution, equal intervals, because it is having so many benefits. I will explain it. Suppose I will sowing the seeds very closely like this. Every seed can germinate at initial stage, but later they cannot get sufficient nutrients from the soil, and no seed can give a good yield or else healthy yield, because they are, is like a what we can say, that a nutrient lagging or supplying of some kind of manures and all. They cannot supply sufficient amount of nutrients for this all the plants, because here they're in a certain very close area, and they're at a time together they are growing. Understanding? So nutrients less plants, so they cannot give good food. That is why the seeds should be sown at right intervals or spacings. Spacing we can call it. Spacing means distance between from seed to seed. Intervals or speeds we can call. Spacing we can call. So the seeds should be neither be placed too close. You remember, neither be placed too close or too far. Too far. See, too close means you have done some, sir, you have said some drawback. What about too far? I will say that is also. Or we should not sowing the seeds too close or too far. Understanding? Because if the seeds are sown too close, then plants formed from them will also be too close. Understanding? Too close, because they will grow, they will germinate very too close and will not get enough sunlight. Enough sunlight. We know that what is the importance of sunlight for photosynthesis process. They cannot get enough sunlight and water and some kind of other nutrients. They will grow like a lagging of nutrient plants, nutrient less plants we can call. So then appropriate distance between the seeds is important to avoid, understanding, overcrowding of plants, or else to get this kind of useless plants. Understand? So this allows the plants to get sufficient sunlight. If you give some kind of proper distance, this will be giving, understanding, sufficient sunlight, nutrients and water from the soil. Now if the seeds are sown too far apart, then it will be wastage of field space. Understanding? Then also we used to get less yield only. So just instead of planting, suppose this much area, 100 centimeters, let me imagine, in this I can plant and I can grow a healthy crop. Is like by planting 10 seeds. It means each 10 centimeters, one seed, 10 centimeters, 10 centimeters, like 100 seeds. Now, instead of planting 10 seeds in 100 centimeters, I am planting only 2 seeds. Understanding? Means at the 0 and 100 centimeters. Now, see how much area, field space we are wasting. Correct or not? Maybe these 2 seeds, they can germinate well and they may get proper sunlight and water, water from the earth, soil and other nutrients. But here see, crop yield is very less because we are wasting a large area. That is the drawback. So we have to maintain proper spacing in between, right intervals or spacings while we are sowing the seeds, like that. The next one is the seeds should not be sown in a dry soil. Understanding? This is also most important. We can see that if we're throwing the seeds or if we're sowing the seeds at a dry soil, means that the soil does not contain any amount of water, then also seeds cannot germinate. Understanding? Because they are not getting sufficient amount of water. So the seeds should not be sown in a dry soil, because moisture we can call, or else which is the what we can say, that amount of water which is present in the soil, that is called as moisture. Understanding? So the moisture in the soil is necessary for the germination of seeds. Without water, without planting the water, understand, without pouring the water, watering the plants, then seeds or plants, they cannot grow, or else seeds cannot germinate. Because what is the most important, understanding, substance which will causing for the germination of seeds or growing the plants. Understanding? So a soil is necessary for the germination of seeds. So if seeds are sown in a dry soil, they may not germinate. They may not germinate at all. They may not germinate at all. That is the reason why we should not sowing the seeds in dry soil. Like that, the next precaution is the seeds should not be sown in a highly wet soil. It should not be highly dry or highly wet soil. Means few crops it requires large amount of water, but most of the seeds they cannot grow in highly wet soil. Highly wet soil. That is also we'll study with very clearly. Suppose if we'll take paddy, so paddy is required always a large amount of water. I'm not discussing like that paddy fields. Most of the crops I'm discussing. Okay, so the seeds should not be sown in highly wet soil, because if the seeds are sown in a highly wet soil, then on drying the soil surface becomes very hard. Understand? Initially, suppose the soil is very wet. So if you'll plant the seeds, if you're sowing the seeds, now once the water is evaporating, then the soil surface become very hard. Very hard. Surface will become very hard because of the hard surface of soil. So the germinating, understanding, plumule will be unable to come out of the ground. Plumule means the initial stage of plant which is coming out from the seed. Understanding? Plumule. Plumule we can call. Plumule. Understanding? Will unable to come out of the ground. So because it's a very hard surface. So moreover, the seeds are not able to, understanding, respire properly, means they won't get breathe, because the soil contains a small holes. So this holes is completely filled with what? Water. So there is no supply of water, air from the top of the ground. So there is not able to respire properly due to lack of air under these conditions of hard surface of soil. So the seeds cannot germinate. That is why we should not plant the sowing in a highly wet soil. These are the 4 precautions we have to be considered. Understand? Now we'll study the next concept is advantages of sowing seed. Understanding? Sowing seeds with a seed drill. So instead of understanding by using a human or manually, if you will make the seeds sowing by a seed drill, we already know that so many advantages. Now we'll study one by one. So you just keep heading advantages. Advantages of sowing with a seed drill. Understanding? So we know that already. What is the first advantage? By using a seed drill, understanding, for sowing, the seeds are sown at correct depth. That is the first one. Understanding? We can sow at correct depth. Understanding? And correct intervals. Means correct spacings. Like that, the next advantage is the seeds sown with a seed drill are in regular rows. Regular rows. By harvesting time and all, it will be very easy because it will be following in an order wise. Okay. So like that, when the seeds are sown in furrows, understanding? Furrows, we know that FURROWS. Understand? So what is the meaning of furrows? Furrows means a small kind of like small canals which is made by the what is seed drill. Understand? Or else plow. Okay. So the furrows by a seed drill, the seeds get covered by soil, and hence these seeds cannot be picked up and eaten by birds. Means the seeds which is fall on furrows cannot be eaten by birds. Eaten by birds and some animals. You just read the statement. When the seeds are sown in furrows by a seed drill, the seeds get covered by soil. Understanding? It will make a small dig, and once the seed will fall in, again automatically back some other kind of it's like instrument which will cover the soil on these seeds. That is the advantage. Okay. So the seeds get covered by soil, and hence these seeds cannot be picked up and eaten by birds. This prevents damage caused by birds. Damage caused by birds means prevention. Prevent damage caused by birds. Understand? Like that. The next advantage is prevents. Like next advantage is sowing by using a tractor driven, or else it's like, okay, if you want to save more time, if you want to sowing the more seeds in more number of acres in less time, then we have to use tractor driven seed or else bullock driven seed. Your choice, depend upon. But if you use a tractor driven seed drill, saves time and also labor. Cut or not, like that. So these are the advantages of understanding sowing with a seed drill. Okay, now we'll study the last concept in this today's class is transplanting or transplantation. Understanding, like in nowadays we can heard this word transplantation, like a nose surgery, ear surgery, eye surgery, lip surgery and all like that. Transplantation we can call, in medicine we can use this word more frequently. Or not like that. If we come to the here also in fields, crops also, we are having a word called as transplanting. Understanding. So now you can understand. I have already told you that few crops it is not possible to sowing the seeds in field directly. So that is why for that the word called as transplanting, which is not directly sowing the seeds in the field. It's called as transplanting or understanding transplantation. Transplanting or transplantation. So though most of the crops are grown by sowing the seeds directly in the soil, are able to understand, directly in the soil, but in some crops like paddy, if you consider, paddy means what? Rice. Paddy means rice and many vegetables. I will say that examples also, like if you want tomato or chili or else brinjal, like many vegetables, the seeds are not directly sown in the soil in large fields. Directly we cannot plant the seeds, or we cannot sow the seeds in large fields. Understand? Okay. First, in these cases, which is not possible to sow the seeds directly in large fields, the case of crops like paddy and vegetables like tomatoes, chilies and brinjal, the seeds are not first sown in a, understanding, not sown in a large fields. They will be sown in a, understanding, a small field or plot, small plat, or else we can call it as nursery. This word you may know that. Nursery means where the small babies are going to for the school. Like that, nursery means growing the small plants from the seeds. Like this, transplanting is called as nursery. And allowed to grow in tiny plants, we can call them as tiny plants. Understanding? Tiny plants. So these tiny plants only called as seedlings. What we used to call? Seedlings, which is grown in a small plot or land, understanding, or field, and this is called as seedlings. And now for this we need to providing them with a, understanding, okay, a good dose of nutrients, very good dose of nutrients, and will make them to allow grow healthy, understanding, and free from seed-borne diseases. Now after these seeds have grown in tiny plants called as seedlings, understanding, in the seed bed or else nursery, we can call it as seed bed. Nowadays you can see that the tomato and all, it is having, we can use to call it as like egg tray. It is having some kind of rectangular shape which is containing small holes. So in that every small hole they will plant one, they will sow the one tomato seed. So from that seedlings will germinate. Later we can plant these seeds in our big fields. Okay, so this is only called as transplant. Understanding? Now after these seeds have grown into tiny plants called as seedlings in the seed bed or nursery, only the healthy and well-developed seedlings. Understand, in this few may die and few may not grown properly. Like that, we will remove that. Only will select, understanding, which are very healthy and well-developed seedlings. Understanding, we can pick it out from the nursery bed or else seed bed, and transferred, see, transplanting or transplantation, transferred or transplanted to the regular field or big field. So the process of transferring the seedlings from the nursery to the main field, from the nursery to main field, means a big field, main field, understanding, is called transplantation or transplanting. Understanding, and this process is done by hand, not by any kind of, understanding, seed drills or something, because they are small plants. So if you use some kind of machinery, it may damage the plant, small plants. That is why. So during this transplantation, proper distance is kept between the various seedlings and also between the various rows of seedlings. Understanding, to enable each and every plant, means which is formed from seedlings, to get sufficient sunlight, water and other nutrients for normal and healthy growth. Normal and healthy growth. Understanding. So the process of transplantation gives us many advantages, understanding, over the direct sowing, which ultimately leads to an increase in the field of the crop. So now we'll study what is the advantage of transplantation process, understanding, instead of direct sowing of this kind of seeds. So the process of transplantation enables us to select only the better and healthy seeds. That is the first one. You just keep heading, the same heading you just modify into next heading is what? Advantages. So advantages of transplanting and transplantation means, see what is going to happen. The process of transplantation enables us to, understanding, which will make a way to process, what we can say, that process to select better, understanding, first advantage, BETT, yeah, better and healthy plants. Understanding, healthy seedlings. What do we to call? Seedlings means a small plant, seedlings for the cultivation of crops. Understanding. So the bad seedlings can be rejected at initial stage itself. The bad seedlings can be rejected. So this selection is, however, not possible when the seeds are directly sown in the soil. Correct or not? Suppose if you will feel that I can do that in the direct field, then if some kind of seeds seedlings may damage after germinating, then you have to remove that. Then what is going to happen? The simply wastage of large field area. That is why we have to do. We should not do that. So like that. Understand? So the process of transplantation allows better penetration, understanding, of the roots in the soil. Better penetration. Penetration means they will get a good quality roots, understanding, so which is already healthy plants, because we will take care of all the required nutrients and all. So these roots, the transplantation allows a better penetration, means better roots. Means these roots will go very deeper inside the soil after transforming into the main field. Deeper penetration. So what is the meaning of penetration? Penetration means going deep inside. Understanding? My fingers are penetrating into the soil. Understanding means my fingers are going inside the soil. That is called as penetration. If the roots are penetrating very deep inside the soil, you can see that big plants, their roots is going very deep inside the soil, because they can stand strongly if the roots are going deeper inside. That is a big advantage. So if you do this transplantation process, the seeds allows better penetration. Understanding? So this penetration of the roots, understanding, will make them strong, and they can absorb the water from the deeper inside the soil. So PENETRATION, penetration. PENETRATION, penetration. Understand? Just remember. Like the process, what is the meaning of penetration? Going inside. Okay. So the process of transplantation promotes better development of the shoot system of the plants. Better development of shoot system. Understanding? Shoot system of plants. Means what is the meaning of shoot part? The tip part of the plant is called as shoot. So it is the better development of the shoots. It allows from the transplantation. Okay, like that. The process of transplantation allows the seedlings to be planted at the right spacings to understanding right spacing. Planting allows us to right spacing, RIGHT, right spacing. Right spacing so that the plants may get uniform dose of sunlight, water and nutrients, means equal distributions of sunlight, water and nutrients. So the process of transplantation is used in the cultivation of paddy crops, means rice crops, and in the cultivation of many vegetables like tomatoes, understanding brinjal, chilies. This is all. So this is about sowing process. Understand? So with this, I'm going to end this today's session, and the next class we will study understanding adding manure and fertilizers. Okay, thank you.